Hi everyone, from this video we are going to learn about the various topics related to the first unit of eCash and virtual money of e-payment systems. They are eCash, nominally eCash, electronic cash or electronic money, and the various benefits of eCash and how it works, and the various security issues in the eCash, namely anonymous, transferable eCash and untraceable eCash. And the next topic is virtual money and its features, and one of the virtual money called Bitcoin and its risks investing in Bitcoin. We can go into the first topic is eCash. In providing a simple definition of eCash, also known as electronic cash, it is a digital money product that provides a way to pay for goods or services without any paper or currency. In eCash, there are two models have been emerged in the time of eCash transactions. The first one is online form and the second one is offline form. The online form is used for all types of internet transactions, and the offline form is involved a digital encoded card that replaced paper money. Here the digital card can be known as debit card or smart cards, also used for making these financial transactions in the form of eCash. While speaking about the historical context of the eCash, it is evaluated product that has its roots from other concepts. That means others have noted that checks were essentially the same idea because they have involved starting that and money will be taken from one account and then placed in another account without any currency or paper required between them. During this process, no currency is actually transferred. Instead, banks take care of changing these amounts in both accounts to reflect the transaction. eCash removes the bank from the payment equation but essentially does the exact same thing as a check. And speaking to the eCash in brief, as more customers and businesses migrate to online shopping and digital transactions that even include multiple currencies or payment methods, have had to involve or facilitate these new preferences. So one of the financial solutions that have emerged is known as eCash, and we can know how this eCash works. Firstly, the individual who is interested to or buying a good or services from internet or a service provider, he downloads the eCash to his wallet and pays to the merchant. In the same way, the eCash goes through the eCash bank so that the transaction can be verified. The merchant or service provider can then choose to pay these expenses with this eCash in a traditional bank account for his use in later. Transactions do not incur a fee except for a small amount charged by the eCash company. This makes it ideal for smaller online transactions than any other payment method. And coming to the various benefits of using eCash. eCash became a solution that was not only address this new type of transaction, but it is also cheaper, secure and private. eCash also responds to the globalization of economy. Now that companies and freelancers are doing business with others all over the world, eCash has provided a way to receive and send any type of currency desired. And lastly, eCash also has linked offline and online payments together through the introduction of smart card technology. Money can be loaded on these cards and then moved to the electronic wallets or smart cards. While previously smart card technology was just used for phone calls, the world is now using smart card technology for all the financial transactions. And eCash has changed the financial transactions forever. It's clear the world of financial transactions has changed forever since the advent of e-cash. Checks and paper money could be eventually replaced with completely digital payments. This will also alert how banks and another financial intermediaries are involved. The personal relation with a bank will also fall by the as people turn to their computers, tablets and smartphone for all their transactional needs, that is financial transaction needs. And there are some of the issues with eCash. The main problem of eCash is that it is not universally accepted because it is necessary that the commercial establishment accept it as a payment mode. Another problem is that when we make payment by using eCash, the client and the salesman have account in the same bank which issue eCash. The payment is not valid in other banks in some cases, and the eCash can be issues in the eCash can be specified as anonymous transferable eCash and untraceable eCash. Here, anonymous transferable eCash is an cryptographic eCash allows offline electronic transactions between a bank users and merchants in a secure and anonymous pattern. But ideally, we would like to be able to transfer coins between each other multiple times before deposit, as happens with physical cash. However, these traditional eCash schemes only allow coins to be transferred once between users and merchants. Here, for simple example, the transfer of these coins can be explained as when we transact through the POS machine by swiping the credit or debit card, the amount debited from our account will not be immediately credited to the merchants or the service provider accounts. We should settle that all the transactions at the end of the day. Until then, the transactions or the amount specified will be credited to a common account of the eCash service provider or the POS service provider accounts, and when he settles at the end of the day by taking his statement through the POS machine, which has conducted all the transactions previously in that day, will then credited into the cash form into the service providers or merchants account at the time of settlement only. If he does not make the action of doing settlements at the end of each day, the transactions will be delayed for crediting into his account. For suppose if he does for 3 or 4 days, after the 3 or 4 days only the money will be credited to the merchant's accounts which he was received in the form of POS transactions or swiping transactions. But the amount will be debited from the user or the buyer and will be credited to the common account in the form of coins of the POS service provider. And transferable eCash scheme also the solution to this problem. Unfortunately, the currently proposed schemes are either completely impartial or do not achieve the desirable anonymity properties without compromises, such as assuming the existence of the trusted judge who can trace all the coins and users in the system. That means until the amount will not be settled, the coins can be traced by the third parties, that means banks, etc. This paper presents the first efficient and fully anonymous transferable eCash scheme without any trusted third parties. The next issue is untraceable eCash. In an electronic cash, that means eCash system, recoverability means once you have lost your eCash, you still can get back the amount of eCash that you have lost. But in untraceability means no one can trace where and when you have spent your eCash. Obviously, there are conflicting properties in an eCash system. Most of the eCash system proposed in the literature do not include recoverability, although some of them, such as contain recoverability. It is an online eCash system. In this process, we propose a new efficient eCash protocol which possesses these two properties simultaneously. That means offline and online. And the next topic is virtual currency. Virtual currency is a type of unregulated. Here, virtual currency can be sorted and transacted only through designated software, mobile or computer applications, or through dedicated digital wallets, and the transactions occur over the internet through secure dedicated networks. Virtual currency is considered to be a subset of the digital currency group, which also involves cryptocurrencies which exist with the blockchain network. Here, virtual currency is a currency held within the blockchain network that is not controlled by a central or centralized banking authority. And virtual currency is different than digital currency, since digital currency is simple currency issued by the bank in digital form. When virtual currency is unregulated and therefore experiences dramatically price movements, since the only real force behind trading in consumer sentiments. And when coming to the understanding of the virtual currencies can be defined as electronic representation of monetary value that may be issued, managed and controlled by private issuers, developers or founders organizations. Such virtual currencies are often represented in terms of tokens and may remain unregulated without a legal tender. So, it is an unregulated digital currency. Unlikely regular money, virtual currency relies on a system of trust and may not be issued by a central bank or another banking regulatory authority. They derive their value based on the underlying mechanism, like mining in case of cryptocurrencies, or the backing by underlying assets. Anyone who watches cryptocurrency prices will see the effort of psychological trading. Here, the virtual currency term came into existence around 2012 when the European Central Bank defined virtual currency to classify types of digital money in an unregulated environment, issued and controlled by its developers and used as a payment method among members of a specific virtual community. It has been found by the ECB, that means European Central Bank. Along with use by the common public, virtual currency can have restricted usage and it may be in circulation only among the members of a specific online community or a virtual group of users who transact online on dedicated networks. Virtual currencies are mostly used for peer-to-peer payments and are finding increasing use for the purchase of goods and services in these dedicated network members only. And coming to the one of the type of virtual currency which was very popular in the unregulated markets are Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a digital virtual currency created in January 2009. It follows the ideas set out in a white paper by the mysterious developer Satoshi Nakamoto, whose true identity has yet to be verified. Bitcoin offers the promise of lower transaction fees than traditional online payment mechanisms and is operated by decentralized authority unlike government issued currencies. That means it was operated by an private members who are in the same network only, which cannot be guaranteed by the government issued currencies or the regulatory bodies by like federal bank or the central banks. There are no physical bitcoins. They are in form of digital currency. Only balances kept on a public ledger in the cloud systems that are along with a bitcoin transaction. It is verified by a massive amount of computing power. Bitcoins are not issued or backed by any banks or governments, nor any individual bitcoins were valuable as a commodity. Despite it is not being ledger tender, Bitcoin charts high on popularity and has triggered the launch of hundreds of other virtual currencies collectively referred to be as altcoins, etc. And speaking about the understanding of Bitcoin, Bitcoin is a type of cryptocurrency. Balances of Bitcoin tokens are kept using public and private keys. The public key serves as the address which is published to the world and to which other may need bitcoins. The private key is meant to be guard security and only used to authorize bitcoin transaction. That means it is a security key. Bitcoin keys should not be confused with a bitcoin wallet, which is a physical or digital device which facilitates the trading of bitcoin and allows users to track ownership of coins. The term wallet is a bit misleading as bitcoins is decentralized in nature, means that it is never stored in a wallet but rather in a form of blockchain. And investing in bitcoins is the one of the topic where there are many bitcoin supporters who believe that digital currency is the future. Many of those who endorse bitcoin believe that it facilitates much faster growth and no fee payment system for transaction across the globe will invest in these bitcoins. Although it is not blocked or banned by any government or central bank, bitcoin can be exchanged for traditional currencies. In fact, its exchange rate against the dollar attracts potential investors and traders interested in currency plays. In March 2014, IRS survey stated that all virtual currencies, including bitcoins, would be taxed as property rather than currency. Gains or losses from bitcoins held as capital will be realized as capital gains or losses, while bitcoins held as inventory will be incur ordinary gains or losses. The sale of bitcoins that you mined or purchased from other party or users of bitcoins to pay the goods or services are example for transactions which can be taxed. Like any other asset, the principle of buying low and selling high appeals to bitcoins. The most popular way of emerging the currency is through buying a bitcoin exchange, but there are many other ways to earn the own bitcoins. Here various risks can be involved in the bitcoin by investing in it. They can be discussed as follows. Here risks of the bitcoin investments are: through bitcoin was not designed or a normal equity investment, that means no shares have been issued. Some speculative investors were drawn to the digital money after it appreciated rapidly in May 2011 and again in 2013. Thus, many people purchased Bitcoin for its investment value rather than a medium of exchange. However, Their lack of guaranteed value of digital nature means the purchase and use of bitcoins carries several risks. Many investor alters have been issued by the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and other agencies have issued many alterations for the investments in bitcoins. And the various risks of bitcoins investments can be explained as below. The first one is Bitcoin regulatory risk. Investing money in bitcoins in any of its many is not for the risk. Bitcoins are a rival to the government currency and may be used for black market transactions, money laundering, illegal activities, or tax evasion. As a result, governments may seek to regulate, restrict, or ban the use of the sale of bitcoins, and some already have done. Others are coming up with the various rules to control the investments in the bitcoin with their regulatory risks. It also have the lack of uniform regulations about bitcoin and other virtual currency arises question over the liquidity and universality of investing in bitcoins. And the next one is security risk of bitcoins. Most individuals who own the bitcoins have not acquired their tokens through mining operations. Rather, they buy and sell bitcoins and other digital currencies on any of a number of popular online marketing known as Bitcoin exchanges. Bitcoin exchanges are entirely digital and, as with any virtual systems, are at risk from hackers, malware, and operational glitches. If a thief gains access to the Bitcoin's owner's computer, hardware, or the hard disks and steals his private encrypted key, he could transfer the stolen bitcoins to another account, which cannot be traced. One case has been raised by hacking incident took place in 2014 in the Bitcoin exchange in Japan, who forced to close down after millions of dollars worth of bitcoins were stolen. But his account has not been closed due to Bitcoin do not have any regulated banks to control their transactions. This is a particularly problem once you remember that all Bitcoin transactions are permanent and irreversible. It is likely dealing with cash. Any transactions carried out with bitcoins can only be reversed if the person who have received them refunds them. There is no third party or payment processor as in case of debit or credit card, hence no source of protection for these type of problems. And next type of risk is insurance risk. Some investors are insured through the Securities Investors Protection Corporation. Normal bank accounts are insured through the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation up to a certain amount depending on the jurisdiction. Generally speaking, Bitcoin exchanges and Bitcoin accounts are not insured by any type of these federal or government programs. In 2019, Prime Dealer and Trading Platform SFOX announced it would be able to provide Bitcoin investors with Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation insurance, but only for the portion of transactions involving in cash. And the next risk of investing in bitcoins are risk of Bitcoin fraud, where Bitcoin uses private key encryption to verify owners and register transactions. Fraudsters or scammers or hackers may attempt to sell false bitcoins. For instance, in July 2013, the SEC brought legal action against an operator of a Bitcoin related scheme. There have also been documented cases of Bitcoin prime malpractice and other common form of fraud. That is that is frauds in the Bitcoin investments. The next one is market risk. Like with any investment, Bitcoin values can fluctuate. Indeed, the value of the currency has been sealed wide swings in price over its short existence. Some of the high volume buying and selling of exchanges, it has a high sensitivity to news. In favor, people begin to accept Bitcoins as a currency, while it has raised 61% in a single day in 2013 and a huge drop in one day single price in 2014, as big as 80% of price drop in Bitcoin value. So there is a market risk which cannot be controlled by any regulators of market, that is stock exchanges and other regulatory bodies. So there will be an unregulated growth or unregulated drop in a single day. That is not possible in the natural markets. So it is one of the risks in investing. The next risk of investing in Bitcoins is Bitcoin's tax risk, as Bitcoin is ineligible to be included in any tax advantage retirement amounts or accounts. There is no good legal option to shield investments from taxation. So it is one of the risk of investing the Bitcoins. By this we have completed the first unit, which we have discussed about the EDIs and the process of EDIs, NEFT and RTGS, and the benefits differences between these NEFT and RTGS, and the electronic fund transfer methods, various methods and their advantages and disadvantages, eCash and the benefits of eCash, issues in the eCash that are discussed today, which are anonymous and traceable eCash, untraceable eCash, and the next topic is virtual currency and the various benefits of the virtual currency, and one of the type of virtual currency, that is Bitcoin, and its risks in investing in the Bitcoins in the first unit.